Coming up on Mountain News this morning, a Kentucky utility company shares some tips on how to keep your water pipes running perfectly as we experience change in temperature. And as we're still in the beginning of winter, it's still important to keep your pets in mind before the weather gets the chance to feel frosty again.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
6 o'clock and it's Tuesday. I'm Dakota Makris. Good morning to you. I appreciate y'all waking up with us. Let's head over to Brandon for a look at our forecast this morning. And Brandon and I, I don't know where he is. There he is.
There I am.
There you are.
Here I am.
See, sometimes when I'm trying to toss to you, I'm like, all right, pop him up so I don't look crazy. But
No.
I always look crazy regardless if you're with me or without me. So,
I mean, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong.
I mean, it's just what it is. It's just who I am.
That's right. All right, let's talk about our forecast, which is a little bit crazy in itself. But the good news is we're going to trend toward the nice as we head deeper into today. Let's take you down, or actually take you over to Pikeville this morning, US 119, US 23 intersection there near Pikeville Commons. All quiet, no major issues. Main road's in good shape up here this morning. I tell you, our road crews did a valiant job over the weekend getting the main roads and even some of the secondary roads clear there. All the way up to my house, and I live kind of off the main road, is pretty clear this morning. So just be aware of that. Sensors still out at Pikeville's Airport, Harlan's Airport, Middlesboro, Jacksboro, and Monticello. All those airport sensors. We've talked to the NWS. It's an airport issue. So if you're missing those sensors, call your airport. See if they can get those back online for us there. But a lot of empty boxes this morning. But the ones that are online, we are seeing temperatures in the upper 20s for most of the area and some low to mid 20s over in Southwest Virginia. So a little extra on your coffee meter this morning. But as we get deeper into the day, you might be able to switch over to an iced coffee to go with your donut because temperatures are going to climb and they're going to get above freezing for the first time since last Thursday night, actually, because that's when our big time cold front came through, bringing us that Arctic blast for Christmas weekend. And then sunshine returns. That's going to melt all this snow off, and we'll be in pretty good shape as we head deeper into the daytime hours. Dakota?
All right, Brendan, thank you. Well, the increase in temperatures might cause a lot of issues for pipes at home as a lot of those frozen pipes start to thaw out. It's going to bring some complications if people don't take the proper precautions. Julia Sandor talked with Kentucky American Water about some tips that could save people a lot of trouble.
It's a sound you don't want to hear in the middle of the night or any time of the day, especially when you're in the midst of an Arctic blast. But when a pipe bursts, it might just sound that alarm. So it's important to follow tips beforehand so that your neighbors don't pay the price.
Insulating pipes that might be exposed to drafty air, with using insulation that you can purchase at the hardware store, blocking little areas of the walls where air might get into the home from the outside, using newspaper or other kind of insulating materials to plug those holes to keep that cold air out.
Pipes on the outside of your home or in an unfurnished basement can be the most vulnerable to freezing. Since they're more exposed, she says if they're frozen, the best thing you can do is find your main water shutoff valve.
So that's something that's very important for all homeowners to know, regardless of the temperature. But when you're able to turn that water off quickly, if a pipe were to burst, you can turn it off quickly and you really minimize the damage that can result.
She says they're monitoring conditions very closely because they've seen water main breaks due to cold weather.
But we also know that on the flip side of that, as the temperatures warm up, the ground may shift again. That could contribute to water main breaks as well.
If it's something within your home, she says they're asking people to troubleshoot by checking in with neighbors, and if it's an isolated incident, it might require plumbing expertise.
And if your pipes do freeze, shut off your water immediately. Thaw your pipes with a hairdryer or space heater and open flames. And once they're thawed, turn your water back on slowly. Kentucky American Water wants to thank its customers for their patience during all the challenges this past weekend. Well, there's currently a boil water advisory for all of Martin County. The county's Water and Sanitation District said the advisory was issued because of a deep freeze. It's been issued as a precautionary measure, and there's currently no time estimate for when it will be lifted. Following flooding in July, families across the region were forced to leave their homes. One family in Floyd County has temporarily moved into a cabin at Jenny Wiley State Resort Park and kept some of Christmas traditions alive, along with gifts and Christmas dinner. Pam Cottle and her family got together and celebrated the season despite losing their home and, in May, losing their husband and father, Philip Cottle.
Having our family here means the world to us. I got to see all my kids that day and all the grandbabies. We visited Philip's grave and spent some time up there. Nothing's ever going to be the same, but we're going to hold strong to each other.
Pam also says she hopes nobody forgets all of the families affected by flooding. Freezing temperatures are not only dangerous for you, but also the furry friends living outside your home. Our Chandler Wilcox tells us what we can look for in our pets to make sure they're not injured during the frigid temperatures.
No matter the size or breed, veterinarians urge people to give their pets shelter.
If you feel like it's too cold for you to be outside, it's probably too cold for them to be outside, as a rule of thumb.
Maybe your pet just loves the outdoors no matter the condition, but Hagen said that is still not what is best for them.
If you have one that's outside, just because they don't like to be inside, at these temperatures, they really need to be regardless of whether they like it or not.
Pets can get hypothermia or frostbite if left in the cold too long. Even if it is a pet you do not own, seeking shelter and medical care for it could be life-saving.
If it's just a random pet that's outside, I would try to retrieve it if you can, to give it shelter, and then it needs to see a veterinarian. It needs to be seen as soon as possible.
If you bring an animal inside that has been exposed too long in the cold, make sure it can gradually become warm before you feed it or give it a bath. Even warming it up too quickly could be dangerous.
You can, if you put them in an immediate, go from very cold to right in front of a heater, of course that could be traumatizing as well. You don't want to do a quick transition like that. It needs to be a slow transition from being cold to being warm again.
While they can track hair and dirt inside your home, the decision to bring them in could save their lives. In Hazard, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
Hope y'all got a good look at my little Winona there. Dr. Hagen said to make sure your pets have fresh water if they go back outside. Water can freeze quickly, which could cause your pet to become dehydrated.
.608 this morning, or coming up on 608, and we are tracking clearing skies. They're not quite there just yet. UVA-wise, still seeing a few clouds over that way this morning, and it's coldest spot in the region at 21. I knew this camera would act up. I knew it would act up as soon as we took it on there. Let's give it just a second. There it goes. It's one of those finicky cameras. I love the view of this camera, but it always likes to act up on us, especially when it's on air. 20s in the northern counties, closer to 30. Of course, the coldest air in southwest Virginia right now, 21 Wise, 24 Clintwood, 25 in Jonesville, closer to 30 across the rest of the area. Heading into the low 40s today, sunshine comes out a little bit later on. It's going to be a fairly nice day by late December standards. Dakota?
Brendan, that cameras like me acts up when it's on camera. Well, all right, when we come back here on Mountain News this morning, the recent massive winter storm leaves behind devastation in certain communities and intense travel headaches in others. We'll have more on the nationwide impacts when we come back.